Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Mike. I had an interesting comment made by AICS USA. That viewer brought to my attention that there's a possibility that Medicare might work here in the Philippines next year. So I did some digging, and yes, there is this new legislation that could allow U.S. seniors to access Medicare benefits in the Philippines. In this video, I'll break down what the Medicare Portability Pilot Program is and how it could work starting in 2026, and what that means for retirees, U.S. government, and even the healthcare providers here in the Philippines. This is going to be an interesting video, so stick around. So what is Medicare today? It's the federal health insurance program for people 65 and older and some younger individuals with disabilities in the United States. It comprises of Part A, hospital insurance, Part B, medical insurance, Part C, Medicare Advantage, and Part D, prescription drugs. Limitations today. Currently, Medicare benefits generally cannot be used abroad. Most services must be furnished within the U.S. This is a challenge for many American seniors who retire overseas, including the Philippines. They earn Medicare but lack access to benefits unless they return to the U.S. for care. This can become costly and inconvenient. However, 2026 could be the year where some legislation is passed into law enabling retired Americans to utilize Medicare in the Philippines. The legislation is called the Medicare Portability Act. This could be a game changer for those retired citizens who have some medical issues. Maybe they're torn between wanting to come to a country like the Philippines for the lower cost of living, but they need to be able to use their Medicare. Well, currently Medicare isn't available here, but there's a pilot program that is being proposed. A writer in the federal FY 2026 appropriations budget for labor, health and human services, and education. This pilot would authorize the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services to design a system where eligible Americans residing abroad could retain and access their Medicare benefits in selected foreign countries, including the Philippines. Key criteria in proposed language include: allowed pilot countries would be those with healthcare systems generally equivalent to the U.S., large populations of American retirees, and strong diplomatic alliances. The Philippines is explicitly mentioned. Medicare and Medicaid would need to design the program in a cost savings way to demonstrate savings for the Medicare Trust Fund. Medicare and Medicaid would be required to submit a report to Congress within 180 days after the Act's enactment, providing details of the pilot design. The program could launch around 2026, pending legislative passage and CMS development. So why is this being proposed? Let's break it down. What is driving this proposal? Support for overseas retirees. There are reportedly millions of Americans living overseas, with a substantial subset being retirees aged 65 and older. Many have worked and paid into Medicare but do not currently receive care abroad. In the case of the Philippines, there are tens of thousands or more existing retiree populations who rely on Social Security payments abroad. Retirees living in the Philippines could benefit significantly, as they wouldn't need to travel back to the United States for major procedures and could access local care at lower costs. Of course, there's an incentive for Medicare and Medicaid to move forward with this plan. It's the potential cost savings to Medicare and taxpayers. The U.S. Medicare system is currently facing cost and funding pressures, and future budget constraints are a concern. Proponents argue that per beneficiary healthcare costs in the U.S. can be substantially higher than in certain foreign countries. Estimates from advocacy groups suggest possible savings of thousands of dollars per beneficiary per year, multiplied by tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands participants, potentially saving billions of dollars annually. The requirement for CMS to demonstrate that the pilot would actually save money and not increase burdens on the Medicare Trust Fund is a central feature. All of this makes sense to me. We hear all the time about uninsured Americans doing medical traveling to countries like Mexico, Thailand, and the Philippines. Some existing use cases lend a precedent. For example, U.S. military retirees living in the Philippines under TRICARE VA coverage are often reimbursed for services at Philippine hospitals. Similarly, Medicare Advantage plans in regions like Guam have allowed coverage for treatment in JCI-accredited Philippine hospitals under certain conditions. These real-world examples suggest infrastructure and systems already exist to support cross-border medical reimbursement, albeit in limited and specific contexts. So who would qualify and how would this work? American citizens or otherwise Medicare-eligible individuals who have earned Medicare and who reside abroad, particularly in a listed pilot country. They may need to demonstrate that Medicare is their private healthcare system, i.e., not based on secondary coverage. They also may need to follow CMS administrative processes, including applications, enrollment, or recertification as part of the pilot program. The pilot design phase after enactment would identify qualifying providers, accredited hospitals, covered services, reimbursement rates, etc. So now let's talk about healthcare provider criteria. Providers and hospitals in the Philippines would likely need to be accredited, demonstrate appropriate standards, electronic health record systems, and compliance with CMS or HHS reporting. This helps reduce the risk of fraud and ensures quality of care. Pricing models would need to be negotiated or ratified to allow cost savings while maintaining quality care. As of right now, it's not clear what medical services would be covered, but the timeline to actually implement all of this is projected to be late 2026 or 2027. So this is something where there's a lot of logistics involved, from congressional approval to Philippine hospitals and clinics, billing Medicare, and so much more. In a nutshell, for retirees who need healthcare, which is everyone, this could give them the green light to go ahead and move here to the Philippines. I'll be watching this one closely in the months to come. Well, that's going to wrap up this video. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe, share, and click or tap that bell notification, because I'm all about bringing all of this information to the forefront. God bless and peace out.